I'm Holly.
And I'm Bridget.
And this
is Girls Next Level.
Welcome back to Girls Next Level podcast, everybody. I think this might be the last one we're recording before we're in our new studio.
Ooh.
Not that we won't ever be back here, maybe for like Patreon stuff or something, but I'm excited to get to the new place for sure.
Yeah.
I think I broke my toe yesterday.
Wait! I feel like I broke my toe yesterday. My big toe on my right foot.
I feel like it's like this middle toe right here. I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit swollen and bruised.
Yes.
But I was at the beach house the other day and I was walking outside on the patio to pick up a delivery. And they have this big, giant, heavy coffee table thing that's like a fire pit.
Yeah.
Like one of those metal things. And
yeah.
I'm just being my clumsy self. And I like somehow tripped over the whole coffee table and I hit my toe so hard. And if you guys don't know, there's nothing you can do about a broken toe.
Yeah.
Like you're just supposed to let it heal on its own. But it hurts so bad. Like yesterday I was just doing like floor workouts because I couldn't do like my walk or my squats or anything like that. So it's kind of painful.
It's very painful. And I know mine isn't really broken, but I hit it so hard that I felt like I was broke my toe, and it hurt for so long. In fact, it's still like kind of bruised and annoying that I say, oh, I broke my toe, but I didn't really. But for me, I was leaving the bathroom and there's just enough gap underneath the bathroom door to where usually it clears the top of my foot. But this time I already had my workout socks on and I was standing on like the little bath mat.
Oh.
And I opened the door and it just like went over the top of my foot, but it didn't, or the top of my toe, but it didn't fit. Do you know what I mean?
Like scraped it bad?
Yeah, but not bloody, although it felt like it was gonna bleed.
Yeah.
But more bruised and felt broken. But then to top it off later, I was getting out of the shower and I'm drying off. And for some reason, part of my heel was under my towel and I pulled it and I lost my balance and I was like gonna fall, and I put my foot down, but it was my toes, and it was the same toe, and I like put all of my weight on like a crooked big toe that was already bruised, and I thought I should have just let myself fall.
That's the theme of this Mercury retrograde, broken toes.
Are we in a Mercury retrograde? See, I don't usually follow. I should follow more, but I don't.
Yeah, it's best to be ignorant sometimes, I think.
Ignorance is bliss.
Can I just say justice for the Hawk Tua girl?
Oh, you know what? I had her in my slumber party notes, and we've never talked about her.
Yeah, go for it, because I've got stuff to add.
Wait, no, you start.
Okay, so this was just, I mean, obviously you guys know it's super viral. There was this college-age girl coming out of a bar. They have those kind of man-on-the-street interviews. And you know what? She's like a normal college-age girl, and she's caught off guard coming out of a bar, and she says something she thinks is funny. But she's been doing the rounds, which... I mean, great, like take this moment and run with it. And she was on Bill Maher, you know, the most common Girls Next Door guest star. If there's anybody out there who loves...
Bill Maher, that guy. Oh, sorry, I have to check in for my flight.
Check in. But anyway, she goes on Bill Maher and he's kind of being like creepy with her. Like when we talk about in the past doing press for Girls Next Door and how obnoxious it was, I'm always kind of thinking in the back of my head, like, thank God it's not like that anymore. Like when I go do press now, it's not like that. Not that I never have an awkward interview, but for the most part, people just aren't gross like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he was going to figure out, you know, what they're going to do with her career. And she could do a podcast on his network, and it could be, you know, because she went viral for saying this thing, and that she should do like a sex podcast, which nothing, like if she did want to do a sex podcast, nothing wrong with that, amazing. But I just think it's so gross that here's this girl who's saying something that's completely normal and funny that a college age girl might say. Earthquake.
Holy shit.
God, it's a big one. Okay, the creepy thing about this earthquake is I heard it before
it
hit. And we just had one not long ago. We were in Club 33 the other day, and there was an earthquake.
Yeah, I felt that one big time. This was bigger.
Yeah.
This was like, I'm like, do we need to duck and cover right now?
Yeah. I always get nervous with earthquakes because when I feel an earthquake, I'm like, what if that was just the tremor?
Right.
But anyway, so Bill Maher was being gross and weird with the Hawk Tua girl, and I'm just like, I felt so bad for her. Like, she's so young, and she like handled herself well, but you could tell she was kind of like uncomfortable. And
I like her. Like, I think that she is cute. I think she's funny. I think that what she said, there's nothing wrong with. But yeah, I'm glad she's getting her 15 minutes out of it, because I think it's cute, because it's the last thing she thought. She's just partying with her friends on like Broadway in Nashville. I'm pretty sure that's where it was. And imagine just walking out and then like being asked those questions, and she's just being silly, and you know.
And whoever's doing your social media is doing a really good job. Like, they have all these cute videos of, like, her in her hometown and stuff.
Oh, I've seen some of that stuff. And I've seen...
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I think she'll do something. It doesn't have to be sex-related if she doesn't want it. It doesn't have to be, like...
Oh, is that what they were implying?
No, that's what Bill Maher was saying. You have to do, like, a sex podcast. You have to be serious about it. And why don't you do it on my network? Wink, wink. And it's just like, no, she's totally, like, just because you're a normal college-age girl who makes a funny remark about normal, healthy sex life that everybody in college is doing doesn't mean you're a sex expert, or that nothing wrong if that's what she wanted to be, but it doesn't mean you have to be categorized as that. Like, I hate it when people do that.
Is she in college?
I don't know if she's in college, but she's like college age.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if she was in college. And oh wait, they said she worked at a spring factory, so I think maybe she's not in college. At least I haven't heard it mentioned. Well, I was just curious if she was in college, what her major was, and what it is that she really wants to do. You know? I haven't heard that, but I'd be interested to know.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun to follow and see if it lasts.
We wish you the best, Haley.
We do.
So should we get into our season 2 Q&A?
Yes.
So we got a lot of these questions off of Instagram. If we name a name with the question, we got it off our Patreon. And we pick the questions that we think will make for the most entertaining podcast. I know sometimes you guys get frustrated because we'll, like, if it's on our Patreon, for example, skip a question or whatever. But a lot of the questions are things that we've answered before, because we've been doing this podcast for 2 years now. And I know not everybody's listened to every episode or remembers every episode necessarily.
What?
I know, right? But, like, we don't want to, like, repeat the same things. So a lot of the questions we get are stuff we've already answered, so we don't do those unless it's something we really feel like we need to reiterate or update for some reason. And the first question I chose was the sex chair still there when you were at the mansion? Bridget, do you know about the sex chair?
I was just going to start this by saying, what the fuck is the sex chair?
So this sex chair was this weird chair somebody made in the 70s, and Dorothy Stratton's husband, I think, was trying to get it patented, or he was in a business that made those or something. And there was one at the mansion in the bathhouse area where they had the pillows that, like, goes down to the gym.
Okay.
But there was no gym back in the 70s. But so there used to be a sex chair there, and they talk about it in Secrets of Playboy about how some people would, like, use it at parties and stuff. And a really gruesome detail is that in the Dorothy Stratton murder, that was, like, part of the whole murder, like, he had one in his room. But no, the sex chair was not there when we were there, but it made me think of how in Hef's bedroom there were, like, cabinets everywhere, even next to the bed, but lower down there were cabinets. And in one of the cabinets, one of the nights, we found this thing that was like this weird blue plastic thing. I can't even describe what it looked like.
We?
I don't remember who was all there. Like, I know Hef was there. I don't remember, like, when this was. It wasn't like the height of the gross, like, super traumatic Mean Girls era, but obviously it must have been at the tail end of it. And there was, like, this blue weird thing that I can't even describe. It looked like a robot. And Hef was like, oh yeah, like, and we called it the Blue Max. And I remember laughing at it, and he got so mad that I laughed at it. And he, like, wasn't trying to use it or anything, but he thought it was so cool, and he got so offended that I laughed at it. And I thought it was, like, weird. But I guess it was something they used to use, like, back in the 70s.
And it performs sex on men or women?
Well, I guess you could do it either way. It was like this weird, it almost looked like, the base part of it almost looked like a bicycle seat, but I don't think you're supposed to sit on it. And then there was, like, this robotic arm, and there was, like, a like thing at the end of it.
Okay, so it's for penetration.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely wasn't there when this was found.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this, and I don't know anything about the sex chair. But I am surprised that it wasn't. What did it look like, a chair, or?
I picture it looking kind of like gym equipment.
Yeah, I can see
And I don't
that.
know what my frame of reference was. I don't know if at one point I saw a picture of the one they had at the mansion.
Yikes, this looks like a gynecological
Yeah.
chair.
Or
Not
if it
fun.
was, or if it was something I saw in, like, a reenactment on, like, Secrets of Playboy or something.
Yeah, I definitely never saw that, but I am actually surprised that it wasn't still there, because I feel like that's something Hef would have, first of all, he didn't get rid of much.
Yeah.
And secondly, I feel like that's something he would have, like, thought was cool to keep around.
You know why I think they didn't have it there is because when he was married and had kids at the house, they cleared out a lot of that stuff. And that's just like a big, bulky thing that you can't like shove in a closet somewhere.
That was going to be my guess. But then my second question is, I wonder if it was ever in storage, like the big offsite storage facility or whatever, and that it's like going to be in one of the auctions someday or something.
We will never know.
Or if they got rid of it and were like, what the hell is this thing? Garbage.
Yeah, those storage things.
What the hell is this gym equipment?
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. I'm curious what your self-care non-negotiables are. For me, it's definitely working out because it just makes my whole life happier. Like, not only do I get that like serotonin boost from doing that, but then I also feel like I have the liberty to eat what I want throughout the day, within moderation, of course. And for a lot of people, that self-care non-negotiable is therapy day.
Oh my God, that's me. Like I've told you guys before, I've used therapy at some point throughout all stages of my adult life, and I'd recommend it to anyone. Sometimes I just need somebody to talk to help me process my feelings, bounce my thoughts off of. I can vent to a confidential source. I feel like that's so important. Therapy helps me set boundaries and become the best version of myself. And I couldn't say enough great things about therapy. One thing I love about BetterHelp too is it's online, so you don't have to worry about fighting afternoon traffic just to get to your appointment, which can add another hour to your already busy day. And let's face it, sometimes being busy, even if it's with stuff we love, is part of what's adding to our stress in the first place. So I really love the convenience of it.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/nextlevel and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/nextlevel.
Next question was, Holly, were you in a Hooters video game? Yes, I was, and it was so weird because the Hooters I worked at in college was in Santa Monica, and one of the owners of that franchise was one of the Baywatch producers, not the same guy who went to the mansion, but a different one. And he was always like coming up with like ideas, like, oh, we need to get Hooters, we need to get like a Hooters show and a Hooters this and a Hooters that. Like he was very enterprising and always trying to do all these things.
Those are good ideas, I think.
No, really good ideas. And I always got picked to do a lot of the things, which I'm really grateful for because I felt like that did a lot for my self-esteem in my early days in California and kind of like kept me on track and kept me like wanting to try and do things in the industry because it's very hard to break into. But when you're always picked for those things, like I appreciate that. Like it's good for my self-esteem or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, so yeah, they picked me and two other girls who worked there to do these like interstitial videos for this video game. And it was weird because they were like, okay, you're going to be the girl, because it was supposed to be like a car race, like a Grand Prix across the country, and like as you're playing and driving the car, you arrive in different cities and you're at the Hooters in different cities. And they wanted me to be from Georgia, and they're like, okay, you got to say it with like this big southern drawl and hyping it up more and more, and it turned into like the cringiest footage, but whatever. And then I just never thought it turned into anything. I just thought, okay, this is something we shot, and I never saw the finished product and never went anywhere. But then it's like resurfaced online. And so I guess it was a video game. I just never knew about it at the time. And this guy was like reviewing it, and he's like, what the fuck is this footage? And it's showing like me and the other girls, and they would have us being so hyper and just like messing around like in the restaurant and stuff. And he's like, ugh, what is this? Like just cringing.
Oh no.
Because it's so cringy, but I low-key kind of love it. So yeah, I was.
Oh, now I want to see it. You have to send it to me.
No, I'm not that proud of it.
Oh. It sounds fun. Well, that just reminded me, obviously it's not the Hooters game, but I don't know if people know, but there was a Playboy video game. And do you remember when they came and they were creating it? And we all wanted to be characters so bad.
We did, but we got denied, of course.
Yeah, but do you remember filling out all that paperwork?
Yeah, we did. We had to fill out these packets of just everything about us, our interests.
Everything, you guys. It was a huge packet. I mean, every detail, measurements and interests and favorites and like all kinds. It was so much information. And then they didn't put us in.
Did they put any playmates in or anything? Like, I know obviously there were female characters in the game, and I remember playing the game because they gave Hef like this gold-plated Xbox and stuff, and we would play it. And it's funny because when your character has sex in the game, it makes your controller vibrate.
I do think that there were playmates in it. I don't remember who, and I don't remember, but I remember being kind of upset about it. Not like so upset, but I remember feeling like really bummed.
Like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we were told we would get this and we filled out all this stuff, and it's like, no, they only picked 3 people.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, well, why not us though?
Yeah.
I mean, it was before Girls Next Door and stuff, so they probably were just like, meh. But they did hire me one time to come and help promote the game at an event.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm like, oh, come help promote the game that I wasn't in. And they kept saying, well, we're still updating. Like, we'll put you guys in. Like, they were, like, dangling it still.
Ew, I don't like that. I hate it when people do shit like that and they have no intention of doing it.
Yeah, otherwise I might not have been so keen on coming to help promote it. Okay, next question is, why do you think Hef never wrote a book?
Well, he was in the process of doing one in the 80s. He was writing it with a guy named Max Lerner. And I've read some of the manuscript of it, but for some reason he like decided not to do it. I'm not sure why. But he had this guy named Steve Watts write a biography about him, and he very much felt like that was his book, even though it wasn't him writing it. But it's funny because I read some of the passages of the first book he tried to write, and it was very much a lot about the women in his life, which I don't know why that's surprising to me, but it was.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that he had his life so well documented. I think he thought other people could tell his story better than him.
Oh, he made comments before to Kevin, like, I know you're keeping all these show notes somewhere, so one day when you write a book, I think he thought Kevin was going to outlive him, and Kevin was which he did a little bit, but I think he thought Kevin was going to way outlive him, and Kevin was going to write the big book.
Yeah. That's just what I think. I think he thinks somebody else could tell his story better than him. And I think that he probably thought that there was something more special about having somebody else tell your story than you telling it yourself. Mm-hmm. In his head, maybe. I'm just guessing here. I've never talked to him about this. And I just sort of think that, it makes you special if somebody wants to tell a story about you.
Yeah.
But anybody can tell their own story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the way I kind of see his attitude on it, maybe.
Yeah, and I think he was also very interested in having like documentaries about himself made, and he put a lot of focus into that.
Yeah, he was very much more in the movie format than he was like the book format. Next question. Bridget, is Gizmo named after the Gremlins character? Yes, absolutely.
Somebody asked, and we get this question a lot, what was it like filming the Nickelback video?
We get this question. I've gotten this question so much since that video came out.
So much. People ask about the Weezer video too, and I don't remember much about it except I was a fan of Weezer, so I was excited to do it.
I remember more about the Weezer than I do the Nickelback.
Really? Because we didn't have a lot to do in the Weezer video. I think we were just sitting by Hef while he played backgammon, and then Playmates were used for most of the rest of it. But the Nickelback video, I remember they shot a scene with the 3 of us out on sun chairs with our key necklaces, our Playboy Club key necklaces. So this would have been shot after the Playboy Club opened. And then they shot individual stuff, like Kendra was in front of the mansion, you were in your bedroom, I was in the grotto. And you guys, I thought this was my chance. I thought, because I grew up like in the late 80s, early 90s watching MTV, like I thought this was my chance to be like the video vixen. I thought we were the main characters of the video, because even like lyrics in the song are about the Playboy Mansion and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, front door keys to the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, like I thought this was the video. I thought it was going to be us and then cut back to like Nickelback doing a performance.
It should have been.
Something. I thought this is my Tawny Katane moment. I'm the new cherry pie girl.
Oh, wouldn't that be
I
a
was
dream?
wearing like this black one-piece bathing suit splashing around in the grotto. I thought I was it, you guys. Cut to the video coming out. It's like a fucking montage. Like the way I described it at the time, I was like, ew, this is like a YouTube video. Because this was like back when YouTube was brand new and people were uploading a lot of like fan compilations or like people on the street videos and just like choppy stuff. And I'd have to rewatch the video. In fact, I should probably pull it up and do a little viewing.
Yeah, let's do a little review on the spot.
But yeah, this is like a compilation video. It's like a girl standing on the street in Chicago. It's like very like a fan video, which love that for the fans. But this was not my cherry pie moment.
No. The bathtub?
Wait, who was the girl in the bathtub? That
don't
looked
know.
so weird.
And what was she doing?
And then we've got 3-6 Mafia in the limo.
There's your cherry pie moment.
Oh, my first moment in the grotto you see 2 seconds of. I wonder if Gene Simmons thought this was going to be all about him too. Or like maybe I'm the only one delusional enough. But like they don't tell you what the video is, but they're just like, oh, we're going to come do this video about you, blah, blah, blah.
And
like,
it's about the Playboy Mansion. So.
Yeah. But I wonder if everybody else, like I bet the ZZ Top guy, since he's mouthing like the deep voice, I bet he knew what his role was. But like I wonder if Gene Simmons was like, oh, this video is all about me.
I don't know.
They don't even cut to us when they say the Playboy bunny with the bleach blonde.
I know.
Was that the guy from Sopranos? Sergio?
I didn't watch The Sopranos.
I love The Sopranos. I always say this, but if I had like a ton of spare time on my hands, I'd go back and do a rewatch.
That makes me want to watch it.
No, I can't believe you've never seen The Sopranos. Okay, you and Nick need to pick a night of the week where you get spaghetti and meatballs or whatever, garlic bread, and start watching The Sopranos.
All right.
I'm not even joking. Okay.
So, barely in it, even though it's about becoming famous and stuff, but the Playboy Mansion is like the pinnacle of it in this video.
That pertain to us, I feel.
Yeah, and it definitely should have been more about us and Hef and the mansion. Hef's not even in it.
Well, it's not about him. It's about dating a girl who will spend all your money.
And it's funny, I remember thinking, there are no front door keys to the Playboy Mansion.
I know, they never lock the door.
Yeah, and I remember being very disappointed in that too, because we're barely in it. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm in it less than any of us. So I was just like, ew. And then the big topper offer is, and I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure we never got paid for it.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been bitching about this since it happened, because I used to keep meticulous records of like, because we had so many little weird jobs like that,
Yeah.
and some of them we would get paid for, and it wasn't a lot of money. I want to say it was like, they gave us like $2,000 or something like that each to be in it. And I remember waiting for that check, because I would check them off once we got paid for things like that. Never got it. I remember checking with PR. We never got paid for this. I remember asking you and Kendra, did you guys get checks? And both of you were kind of like, I don't know. You weren't sure. I asked PR, and she was like, oh, let me check on that. Took forever. Came back and said, no, they said they think they paid you. And I'm like, no. And still to this day, not checked off.
Because they probably signed too many people up for the video, and they're like, this is out of our budget.
I mean, it's possible that it came through as something else, and I was like, what's this one? And it didn't check off. Yeah. But I don't think so. I think we never got paid for it.
Interesting.
I think we got stiffed by Nickelback.
And as far as like what the experience was like filming it, I thought that was fun. It was just like we were filming at home, so super easy. Like I said, I thought I was it.
Yeah.
So I was all high on myself when we were filming it, and everybody who showed up to film it was like super nice and like easy to work with and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I was talking to Mystery Man, and sometimes like when we're driving, because we both listen to satellite radio, if like a song comes up that like pertains to us, we'll like send each other a picture. And he sent me a picture of that song when it came up on like Pop 2K.
Yeah.
And he goes, this song reminds me of you. And I send him a voice note. I go, oh, I was in that video. And he goes, I know, that's why it reminds me of you. But like, that's how little we were in the video, is I think people don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, did you know I was actually in the video?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just I think I had a great time doing it. I think I was super excited about it. But looking back on it, it's annoying because we're barely in it. It's about getting to the Playboy Mansion.
They could always make us an extended cut if they wanted to.
Yeah, they should.
Nobody wants to, but I'm just throwing it out there.
And I think we didn't get paid. You know when you discover a new binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome it is? That's kind of what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's such an awesome deal, there's no way you can just keep it to yourself. I mean, I was so shocked when I found this out because my cell phone bill is easily 5 times that a month. Friends don't let friends overpay for wireless. So bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you and your squad with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless for $15 a month.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/nextlevel. That's mintmobile.com/nextlevel. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/nextlevel. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Next question. How close to the mansion was Studio West? What was your commute like? I don't remember how long the commute was, probably like 20, 30 minutes. It was morning traffic. I just remember I started leasing my little Prius so I could go back and forth. I always drove the Playmates to work. We would stop at Starbucks on the way because this was before Postmates and stuff, and I didn't have an assistant, so I would always grab everything I needed, all my food and coffee before I got there. Yeah, the commute wasn't a big deal. It didn't feel like a long time. And
yeah, Homely Hills and Santa Monica aren't that far apart, but you just have to take into consideration LA traffic. Mm-hmm. So for every mile, it's probably 3 to 5 minutes per mile.
Yeah.
Does getting a cease and desist make you not want to be as open?
It does the opposite for me. It makes me want to dig my heels in and be a fucking free speech warrior. So no, that didn't intimidate me in the slightest. Ever since I did my book and went through the legal review on that, I think I'm pretty well versed on what I can say and can't say. I'm very confident. I check with lawyers myself if I'm not sure, and it makes me just get more fired up, honestly.
Yeah, it would definitely make me feel like I couldn't open up, but I think with your attitude and your stuff and everything, it made me be like, no, fuck that, I'm gonna talk. But on this particular case, this last cease and desist we just got, I was not worried because, as we've told you guys before, we already had lawyers review it, and so did Marston. So when she sent a cease and desist on that, I'm thinking, no, bitch, we've already had this checked.
Yeah, it's totally just a case of her thinking she's richer than everybody else and can throw some dollars down to an attorney from her house on the hills and be as if she's above everybody else. And I'm not into that.
No.
Next question. Did you save all the birthday and anniversary cards you got back then, or only certain ones? I saved all of them.
I saved all of them.
I think every now and again you can find a full scrapbook volume right before Christmas that's just full of every Christmas card I got.
Or birthday cards.
Yeah.
I even say birthday cards that I got from Panda and stuff. Seriously, it's all in the scrapbook.
Panda's so thoughtful.
I know.
I miss Pandy.
Oh. I was just thinking about Panda the other day. I was telling the ghost story associated with her.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Panda is I'd already had Harlow. I got her from a pet store. She had kennel cough. And then I became woke to pet adoption. I was never going to buy a pet again. But so many of Hef's friends kept coming up to Buffet saying, Holly, you've got to see this dog. Because there was this pet store up on one of the canyons.
The top of Mulholland.
Yeah. And they would have designer dogs, and they'd put them in cribs in the pet store, so it was really extra cute. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But it was Betty McCann and somebody else, and then even Kimberly, Hef's ex-wife, was whispering from across the way,
I remember
Holly. And I don't know why. I don't know, because I already had a Pom. I don't know why I was the target, but they're there's this amazing black and white Pomeranian. You have to get her. And I was like, no, I'm only doing rescues from now on. But you're rescuing her from the pet store is what they're saying. But I ended up getting this dog because I was just okay,
I went with you.
Yeah, I'm I just feel like this is meant to be. But Duchess was a rescue. She was rescued from a breeder. She was actually a breeder dog. And then Duke was came from somebody.
Duke was rescued
from somebody.
From somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Existential question. Does dressing sexy make you hot?
I think it's all a mindset, but I think sometimes dressing sexy in certain cases can make somebody less hot.
I think it depends on what perspective you're looking at. Does it make you feel hot, or does it make people looking at you think you're hot? It's two different questions.
And sometimes like showing more skin doesn't necessarily look attractive depending on the setting or, you know, how the things are fitting, or, you know, it just totally depends.
I think dressing sexy can make you feel hot. So if you're trying to like be romantic or, you know, get in the mood or whatever, I think sometimes dressing like that can make you feel better. But if you're looking at how other people perceive it, I think dressing too sexy sometimes turns people off.
Yeah, and sometimes you can put on something, you know, I've done this a million times before, where I put on something that's supposed to be sexy, and for some reason I feel like it's too revealing or not fitting right or uncomfortable, and that just makes you like fidgety and weird all night. So no, sexy is a state of mind.
And I've also put on things that I think are not sexy. Like maybe it's just like some shorts and a tank top or whatever. And Nick will be like, "Oh my God, you're so hot in that outfit." Like,
yeah, sometimes you never know. It's in the eye
like,
of the beholder.
I'm like, it's shorts and a tank top. Like, what?
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's just hitting right. Maybe it's just the way things fit, or I don't know. But, or maybe just his mood.
Yeah. Aunt Becca asks, centerfolds could have interesting pubic hairstyles, landing strip, triangular, square, etc. Who decides this? I don't know who was deciding it over the years, because like I've said before, like Playboy changes over the decades, and like I obviously like wasn't working at the studio that whole time. For like the 50s and 60s, you didn't even see pubic hair. 70s you started to, everybody had a full bush. 80s it was full bush. 90s it started going down to like in the mid 90s, like landing strip. And I think that came into style because like Pamela Anderson started doing that and like her celebrity pictorials. As far as like if people would have you trim it at all, like I don't really know. That was probably like a case by case scenario. I do remember reading like a story Jenny McCarthy wrote, I think in one of her books, where she was like modeling for her Playmate of the Month thing, and it was like a behind shot where she was kind of bent over a little bit, and all of a sudden she like hears everybody on set whispering, pss, 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 and she's thinking, what's wrong? And she can hear somebody come over and be like, oh, you've never shaved before, huh? Because I guess like the pubic hair was like showing like from the back.
Oh.
I wish Jenny McCarthy would come on the show, because she just has like the funniest Playboy related stories. They're just like funny, just like random, goofy, funny.
We should ask her.
Yeah, totally.
Doesn't hurt to reach out. See, I always thought it was the girls like came in.
Yeah.
And however they had it styled. I mean, if it was out of control, they might have asked them to trim it up or whatever, like in Jenny McCarthy's. But like, I always thought that it was just like the style that the girl came in with. Like if you had no hair, then it's no hair. If you have a little something, then it's a little something. Like,
yeah, I think you're right. I think it would just be like a case by case basis. Like if somebody had to trim a little something, but I don't think it was ever like a uniform thing. Like this is what your pubic hair needs to look like.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And they didn't have like a fully shaved person until like right around the time we moved in.
Oh.
And they had published one person like that. And then the second person who came in like that, her actual first concept for her centerfold, which they didn't use, but it was like a barber shop. And like the whole theme was like her pussy was shaved, because it was such a novelty at that time. But they didn't end up going with that. They ended up doing her in like a man's closet or something. But
that's kind of funny.
A lot of people were shaved.
This one's from Girls Next Level fan. Probably no, knowing how Kevin was, but did you guys get to choose the individual intros to the show? Do they mean like
the cartoon things in our rooms?
Oh, yeah, no.
We definitely didn't get to choose anything, but I do remember we loved those. And it was one of the few things with the show that we were absolutely thrilled about, had no notes on, thought was great.
Yeah, I still love them. They're cute.
This next question had me thinking, because it says, how were you told there would be a second season? Because I don't remember at all. And granted, I wasn't maybe as invested in the show as some other people, but I would think that would be like a big momentous announcement. But I don't remember how we heard we were getting a season 2.
See, I don't feel like it was anything very, it was non-ceremonial. It was just sort of like, I mean, they were happy and excited, but it was just like, so we're getting a season 2. And it was basically like, we need a meeting and find out what's going on. Like, it wasn't like, champagne was popped and like there was a big dinner and they're like, we have an announcement, we got a season 2, which you would think they would do.
You would think that way. And I was thinking too, like, okay, maybe in the Girls Next Door era I wasn't that invested on whether or not we got renewed, but I certainly was like later on. And I'm thinking, how did I hear about Holly's World getting a season 2? I'm sure it was Kevin calling me, but I don't even really remember that. It was never like the big announcement that you would think it was going to be.
You know what? Also, I feel like even though they were super excited, like, oh, we got a season 2 and stuff, they were always very... There was always like this downplay of everything. It was always like, well, they went ahead and ordered a season 2.
That was by design, I think.
Only 8 episodes. I was really pushing for 10, but they only picked up 8. So I guess we'll try, And so it was always very tampered down.
Well, I think that was to keep us in our place. They didn't want us to get any big ideas that we were in demand or might want to ask for more money or anything like that.
Yeah, and then they'd always throw in, there's just this advertiser problem and, but they ordered 8. They're going to see how it goes, see if they can, get the ad agency to sell some ads for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was always like, oh, okay, so be very grateful that we just got 8 more kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it was always treated with us. Mm-hmm. I could tell they were excited and it was a happy thing, but at the same time, very tampered.
Yeah, for sure. Amber asks, did Hef ever tell any of the girls to slow down their drinking because he thought they were being too loud or obnoxious while out? I feel like there were a couple cases where people got kind of out of control, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember if we ever invited somebody out and they got completely like sloshed and out of control. And Hef didn't like what he called pushy. Like if somebody was in his face too much or trying to get too much of a convo going and they were drunk, I think he would be like, I'm not inviting her out again. But I don't think there was ever a time I remember when he really pulled somebody aside and was like, you need to get your shit together. Something about that seems kind of vaguely familiar. Like maybe it happened once or twice, but I can't remember who it would have been.
I can't remember either, but I feel like I do remember him at one point pulling somebody aside and saying something very stern to them.
Do you think Katie Price at the Midsummer's Party was one of those?
It could have been. Okay, real talk. We've all been there. Feeling like we're burning cash with those rent checks. It's frustrating, right?
Yes, I don't know about you, but I'm obsessed with getting the most for my money and making my money work for me, whether it's maximizing my credit card points or getting the best interest rates or what have you. So to find out there's a way I can make paying rent work for me and not just have it feel like burning cash or throwing cash away or whatever, I'm interested.
Here's the deal. Built Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding. Say goodbye to the money bonfire and hello to a renter's revolution with Built. Built is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. Every month, pay your rent and watch the Built points roll in. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points towards a flight on hotel stay with over 500 plus airlines and 700,000 plus hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them toward a future rent payment. They're designed to meet your lifestyle. Pay rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Built points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com/nextlevel. That's JOINBILT.com/nextlevel.
Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/nextlevel to start earning points with your rent payments today.
This one's from Sarah Brown. Who cut Hef's toenails?
He cut his toenails himself. I know why you're asking. You're probably asking because I think I said at one point that I would cut his fingernails because he wouldn't cut them with clippers. Yeah. He'd cut them with scissors. And he would cut his left hand, but obviously he's right-handed, so he couldn't cut his right hand. So I would do that for him. I didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't mind doing it. That's what you do for your partner. I didn't think it was weird, but some people did.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get to meet Jack Nicholson? I don't think we ever did. His daughter Lorraine was around, but I don't think Jack was really showing up while we were there.
I don't think I ever met him. But he was talked about so much. It was like he was part of the Mansion family, but I never saw him there.
My favorite is the drive-through story.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, like stories like that, like he's a legend there.
Yeah, if you guys don't know the drive-through story, I put this in my book, but so I don't even know if he did this, but supposedly there was like, Hef always prided himself on having like a kitchen where guests could order whatever they wanted. And supposedly in the 70s, Jack would call ahead and order something and he'd drive up and just grab it in a bag and leave like a drive-through. So then like Hef put a stop to like people. I forget how that downgraded the kitchen. I don't know if it's like people couldn't call ahead and ask or they couldn't order absolute anything. But like that was the legend. And I always thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think because I'm a drive-through connoisseur myself.
Me too. If you could know the answer to any unsolved mystery, what would it be? Well, that's too hard. There's too many things that I want to know the answer to. D.B. Cooper.
That's a good one. I would want to know what happened to Marilyn Monroe. Like, did she really kill herself or was it foul play?
Yeah, that was my other one I was thinking of.
That's the one I would pick.
But I want to know the answer to other mysteries, too. Like, I had a ring.
John Bonet.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. But even, like, something simple and relative to me, like, I've had a ring stolen. That was really important to me. And, like, I want to know where that is.
Yeah. It's like weird when you just never get resolution to something.
Yeah. So, like, there's a lot. There's a lot of things.
Somebody asked, do you like Italians? I should hope so. My kids are half Italian.
I do. Nick's Italian.
Yeah. Random.
Okay, this is from Sheila Amir. Hypothetical question. If y'all were given all the footage of the show, would you do an honest remix to show what really happened?
Don't have the time or desire. I mean, if somebody showed me like the real footage of like a scene that has been really cut poorly and disputed, would I toss that up on YouTube? Of course I would, but I have no interest. I feel like the honest remix is just us commenting on it and being like, oh, that wasn't really that, or that was really this, or that was whatever.
I think so too.
What are your favorite and least favorite Playmate pictorials? Well, I know you hate saying favorite and least favorite.
Well, and not only is this hard for me because of that, but like I don't just remember all the pictorials. Like I know you really studied them and know them really well, but I feel like I do not.
It's hard to pick a favorite, of course, but I think Stacey Fuson's Playmate pictorial is so good and so cute and so pretty and really holds up. Like, it still looks sexy today. It doesn't look dated necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't think. Least favorite, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Playboy pictorials, so it's not like there's a bunch out there that I don't like. I love the campy ones. Sometimes there'll be like a weird campy one, like the clown Playmate. Yeah. I'm obsessed, even though that one's weird. Or like, this wasn't a Playmate one, but the Sharon Tate vampire pictorial is another one I think of. Love those. But when I think of least favorite Playmate pictorials, I think of back in the day, they used to do, especially like the 90s and 2000s, like before I started working at the studio, they just published so many blondes. It was out of control. And I'm a big fan of like the blonde Playmates. There was a lot that were amazing, but it would get to the point where you'd look at some years in like the Playmate review and there would be ones that looked like clones of each other, or there would be like a blonde who just looked like a young, cute, blonde college girl, but there wasn't anything about her that made her stand out, or at least they didn't work anything interesting about her into her pictorial theme, and it was just very unmemorable. But even just looking back on it, just like the lack of diversity, granted, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So like not every Playmate everybody's going to think is super hot. But like when I look at the 2 years of centerfolds I produced, like again, like maybe not everybody is everyone's cup of tea because you're never going to hit that. But like one thing I will stand by is that every single Playmate I produced is different from the other ones. There's nobody that looks like a clone of each other. Everybody has something really interesting and unique about them that was like worked into their pictorial to make it interesting and unique. And like I will stand by that. Lisa Bottoms asks, do you guys know if Girls Next Door was one of the reasons for the Playboy Club reopening? I don't think so, because I think they were talking about it before Girls Next Door. Like it was one of those things that took a while to get into motion. But also I don't think it hurt.
No, but I think getting that gaming license and the liquor license and all that kind of stuff is really, really hard and takes years and years.
Do it a long time before.
So I think it was in motion way before Girls Next Door. But I definitely think you're right. I think that the popularity of the show really pushed it forward. If you could go back in time to relive the past for 1 week, would you do it?
I never want to do that. The only thing I can think of that I would want to do is like go back to California Adventure when it was original, because I just have nostalgia for it, and I think it would be fun to like go back with Ashley and do that again. But I feel like, especially because I know you guys are probably talking about Girls Next Door era stuff, I feel like if I put myself in my body back then, knowing what I know now, my skin would be crawling. I'd want to run the fuck out of there. I'd freak out. Like, I don't want to do any. I'm sorry, but I don't want to do any of it anymore. Like, there's times I'm watching the show and I see days where I'm like, oh, that was a fun day, or that was fun. But it was fun then. Like, it wouldn't be fun for me now.
Yeah. For me, it would be probably going back to my very first pictorial. I've said that before on here. Or not pictorial, but the very first test that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you could do it different?
Do it different.
Yeah.
Because there's just something about the whole thing that I just feel like if it would have been done right, I would have gotten Playmate at that point.
Do you feel like you would prefer that, though? Because if you would have just been another Playmate back then, like, you would have never been on Girls Next Door.
True.
Which, not that you wouldn't have done other things. Like, I hate it when people say, well, if it wasn't for Hef, you wouldn't be famous, you wouldn't do that. Who the fuck is to say I wouldn't have done something else that was just as rewarding?
Yeah.
Like, if you would have been a Playmate back then, maybe you would have gone on and opened your Halloween stores or done your haunted houses or whatever, and that would have been just as good. But
yeah, I don't know. Everything happens for a reason, right?
You never know.
If you got to pick the concept for an episode, what would you have done?
I feel like we got to do most of the stuff I wanted to do. The only other things that I was coming up with were travel, because I just saw the show as such a great excuse to travel, and our only excuse to travel.
And they hated that part of it.
Yeah, totally. So there were like I remember we wanted to go to Romania. We wanted to, like, we had
that came close.
Yeah, like we had a whole list of stuff we wanted to do, and that was kind of like what I saw the show as, is that at the time is like, this is my excuse to like get to go do things. Like, it wasn't about ego or about me being famous or being on TV. I thought, oh, this is my chance to go do stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like as far as concepts for episodes, we got to do most of what we wanted to do. I remember toward the end, like, what I was really enthusiastic about was like showcasing the Playmates and like my work at the studio, and I got to do that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I don't really feel like I'm missing out on anything that could have been.
Yeah, no, I think that we were very involved in the concepts of the shows. Mm-hmm. So, this is from Brittany Harris. Did the mansion have an exclusive contract with a doctor for plastic surgeries?
No, we just picked whoever. I want to go back to when the person asked if we got to pick a concept of the show that we didn't do, what would we do? We got to do everything we wanted to do, but I also do want to pad on there, because I know we'll talk about it later down the road. It's not that this was a big thing I wanted to do, but there were other things we kind of wanted to do that just never got done, like having a roller disco party or camping in the backyard, that they ended up using for season 6, and that was annoying to us because they always like poo-pooed it on us and wouldn't let us do it, but then they mine all our old ideas for season 6.
Yes.
But those weren't like big things that we really like regret not getting to do. Like, I think we got to do most of the stuff we wanted to do.
They were just fun things that we were gonna, pepper into the show, but yeah.
Did Hef ever get in the pool or grotto? I never saw him in the pool swimming. We did convince him to go to the grotto a couple times, but he never like tried to have sex or do anything in the grotto. And like it was a big deal just to get him to go in the grotto.
Yeah.
But it was not like a sexual thing. Like, we'd just get in the grotto and like take pictures and stuff. And the pictures weren't even that crazy because we're like in the water. It wasn't like anything crazy. But it was like we did get him to do it a couple times because we just felt like we're living at the Playboy Mansion. That's the experience you're supposed to have. Like, that's like the stereotypical, like, you're supposed to be naked in the grotto or whatever. So we did it a couple times and it was fun and it was novel, but it wasn't like an orgy or anything.
Right. Oh, this one's for me. Bridget, did you ever meet guys that you thought about getting to know but couldn't because of your relationship with Hef? Towards the end, the very end, like we're talking...
But was it just Nick?
Summer of 2000... Well,
not to say just Nick, but...
Well, no, there was one other person.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like summer of 2008, like I started, but prior to that, like I just wasn't even open to it or looking for that. Like you guys know, I had been married and that was finally over and done with. And I was just not even looking for that. Like I was just enjoying.
What about Kelly Slater? Not even him?
Oh, well, I had a crush on Kelly Slater. Definitely.
But having a crush isn't the same as like really having your designs on somebody. Because the guy I ended up dating after Hef, I had a crush on him before, but at first it was just a crush. And I was like, oh, if we can go guest star on his show, amazing. He cute. Maybe he'll come to a party sometime. But like, I never thought I would hook up with him at that point until it progressed, you know?
Yeah, I had a crush on Kelly Slater, but I I never like was
Thought
like
it was going to be a thing.
no.
It's
Never.
it's like when you're thinking in your mind like a hall pass, like, oh, he's cute and blah blah blah. It's not like you're trying to like do the thing.
Yeah, and I had a crush on George Clooney.
Yeah.
But never thought like anything was actually going to happen with that or anything like that. So I think I was pretty closed off as far as like even being, I wasn't even open to that really.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Like I was just concentrating on the show and our lives and like saving and like just me
same.
basically.
Yeah.
Things have gotten so busy lately, and I don't like to eat out all the time. I mean, of course I enjoy eating out, but just not all my meals. But meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking can be a huge hassle. But Hungry Root makes it possible to spend less time doing all of that and more time doing what you love. Hungry Root is a delivery service that I can really get excited about. It eases my mental load and makes me feel less overwhelmed about what I'm going to cook for dinner all week. And each week I get so excited to look at the new offerings that they have and like new things I can try. And I love customizing them because I've told you guys that I'm a very particular eater. So I have to take out all the weird spices or veggies or things that I won't try. and Hungry Root lets me do all of that. So that's what I love about it. And Nick loves that I'm adding new options to our weekly menu because you know how you get stuck in a rut and start cooking the same things all the time? Well, now I get to try new things that I would have never thought of. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. They send you fresh, high-quality groceries, simple, delicious recipes, and essential supplements. It's like having someone else do all the planning and shopping so you don't even have to think about it, which I love. Hungry Root gets to know your personal health goals, dietary restrictions, favorite foods, how much time you want to spend actually cooking, and more. Then they build you a personalized cart with all your grocery needs for the week, including easy 4-ingredient recipes to put those groceries to good use. Each order is fully customizable. Like I said, that's what I love so much about it. So you can take their suggestions or choose anything you want.
Bridget, I was so excited about my first Hungry Root box. I just got straight into it and just started like eating the food and preparing the food. I didn't even do the recipes. I'll try that next time. I was particularly impressed with the quality of the meat. I follow a keto diet, so I was able to order mine to be all keto friendly. And they even sent me like pickles as a snack, and pickles are my favorite thing ever. So I was super excited about it. Right now, Hungry Root is offering Girls Next Level listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/nextlevel and get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/nextlevel. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Meg, yes, Holly, is it weird rewatching/reliving a portion of your relationship with Hef? Not really, because with the exception of like Age of Aquarium, I don't think you see a lot of authenticity in Hef's and my relationship on the show too much. So that's not really weird. There's always weird things that come up rewatching the show. I think the thing that comes to mind that I think is weird is how Hef would do like the weird open mouth peck thing. And I'm just so weirded out that I never noticed that and thought it was awkward in real life. And I never noticed it and thought it was awkward the first time we watched the show back when it was out. I was like, why am I just noticing this now?
Yeah.
I think that's weird.
Did you guys ever feel like Hef was jealous of the attention you guys got from the show?
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, because I would say no. At first, he still always thought he was like the man. But there were times on red carpets where he was very
like
adamant.
Didn't want us splitting off.
Yeah, didn't want us doing individual pictures or pictures just us and not him. Like he very much had to be a part of all of that or he would get pissy about it.
Yeah, I think for the most part there wasn't an opportunity for Hef to get jealous of us getting more attention because we were so controlled and so in that bubble. Like I've said a million times on this podcast, like I didn't even feel famous when I was on Girls Next Door because we were always still with Hef. So that kind of like excitement that surrounds you when people are recognizing you from TV. Like, yes, it got to a point where people knew our names as well, but it still just felt like the same level of like, oh, Hef's really famous and we're just here.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think there was a lot of opportunity for him to get jealous of the attention.
Yeah. And the show was such a hit and he was just giddy about it. Like,
he was loving it.
He was looking up every moment of this.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how tall was Hef? Well, he was like my same height when we were together, so 5'5", but he was always very insistent that he was 5'7". Because, people shrink as they get older. And he would still like insist he was 5'7", but I'm thinking in my head we're the exact same height.
That's shorter.
Nothing wrong with a short king though. Like, I'm not hating on short guys. Like, I hate it when I see clips of girls on TikTok and they're like, ew, I will not date a guy who's under 6 foot. Like, if that's your preference, fine. You can't control what you're attracted to. But don't be such a bitch about it. Like, if a guy was saying anything like that about a woman, like, ew, I would never date a girl under a B cup, you'd be like, fucking pig, asshole, go suck your own dick. But like, girls can be so mean about a guy's height, and that's literally something you can't help.
Yeah. I didn't realize Hef was that short. I would have guessed like 5'7". I mean, I would have guessed like 5'9".
Okay.
This one's from Amy. Were there any rules, curfew, or any type of allowance for living in the bunny house?
No, I don't think they had a curfew. There was no allowance. The only rule, and this was very loose, it was just like you're expected to, come up to the mansion for meals regularly and come out with us if we have any events. And there was nothing sexual attached to that or anything weird. It was just like, make yourself seen. Like, we don't want to have anybody living over there if we never fucking see you, because then what's the point?
Right.
So it was just kind of like a loose expectation.
And I think that there were no guys allowed over there.
But it happens sometimes.
So I've heard.
Yeah. Favorite season of Girls Next Door overall? I know you're jumping to answer this one, Bridget.
Well, that's super hard for me because I have not rewatched the majority of it. So I've only rewatched season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, for me too. I can't really say either, because even on my YouTube rewatch, I didn't get around to season 5. So I haven't seen season 5 since it came out. So my memory could be really cloudy on that. I remember as we were doing the show, I liked it more and more as each season went and had fun with it more and more as each season went. If I had to just pick a favorite season as a viewer now, I might pick season 3 just because there's so many that I like. Like, I love the Christmas one. I love my birthday one. I love the one where I'm an apprentice at the studio for the first time. I love the snowboarding episode. I love the Star Wars episode. There's a couple episodes in season 3 I'm not crazy about, but I remember a lot of like good fun things. So I might pick season 3, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
This is from Italia Music Man 79. I was recently rewatching The House Bunny, and I forgot if you guys liked the film or not.
I thought it was fine and cute, and I think what I love most about it is just seeing how beloved it's become over the years and how it's kind of a cult classic.
I remember really liking it and thinking it was super cute, but there's always like this little thing for me about kind of stealing my entire identity.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the ads where it says, going where no bunny has gone before. College. Because I remember you were like super offended by that.
Yeah.
Because that was like one of the movie posters at the time.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, also, kind of taking my whole identity, and I'm not really compensated for that in any way.
It's iconic though. Like, I would like it if somebody made my whole personality into a movie and it was like Elle Woods-ish.
Yeah, like I'm not hating on it, but there's part of me that's like, wait, like there's not even acknowledgement though that it's.
Yeah.
I mean, when I did Anna Faris's podcast, she did say something about it, but there's never been a real acknowledgement of it or anything.
Yeah.
So I just sort of feel a little bit used about it.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's the whole thing with like Playboy overall too, is we did contribute a lot of things to like the look and the atmosphere and things we were doing at the time, and it's all just kind of clumped together in everybody's mind as, oh, that's Playboy. That's a Playboy girl. And then you kind of feel like robbed of your personality. Like it's not yours anymore.
Yeah.
So I get that for sure. A asks, when did you ladies start doing Botox? I remember I got Botox once at like 23 because I was obviously miserable and on crack and picking myself to death and I didn't need it. But I really started getting Botox semi-regularly when I was about 30. But it was when I was doing my show in Vegas and I wanted to be like larger than life and like a cartoon character on stage and have to have big expressions. So I would always wait until like I had a little bit of a break. And I just thought of it as preventative Botox, like giving my face a little bit of a break, especially since I was being so over the top with my expressions in my day-to-day work. Now that I'm 45, I get it all the time. I just always have it. It's a regular thing.
I think I was like 28, and that's because I did a audition for a commercial, and they got back to me and said that I was too old and needed Botox.
What? Okay, was that the casting agent or the agent, or who told you
The
that?
casting agent called me and told me that the person doing the ad said that about me.
Okay, you didn't ask.
Yeah. Well, that's what he told
rude.
me anyway.
And I feel like that's a crazy thing because obviously, like, I feel confident enough about Botox that it's safe and everything. But that's like something you're putting into your body that's like a very personal choice. And to just be like, oh, she needs Botox. It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Yikes.
So immediately, like, I'm devastated and
That's
upset.
horrible.
And, like,
I'm sorry that
run out and
happened.
get it done. But,
Ew.
and I don't think I was doing it I mean, I was doing it on a semi-regular basis, but I don't think I was like, oh, 3 months, got to get in there or anything like that. Like, I feel like I did it a couple times a year maybe. But now I try and stay on clockwork every 3 months. Keep it updated.
Chris Cross asks, I wonder if there is something you always wanted to achieve or do, but the association to Playboy has put a full stop to that. I'm sure there are. Like, there's
Probably things we don't even know about.
yeah, probably things we don't even know about. I mean, I could never do something. I feel like I could never do something like super wholesome, like a Disney thing or something. Because people are like, ew, you're that naked Playboy girl. No, you know. But I feel like it's interesting too because you can be a rapper with the nastiest lyrics and still be a voice in like a children's movie. Or you can be the raunchiest comedian saying the most controversial shit and still be the voice in a children's movie. But like if you've ever been nude, forget it.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Well, I mean, I guess Kim Kardashian was a voice in Paw Patrol. But like, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe that's just in my head.
I think it does matter.
I was told once that I couldn't write a children's book even under a fake name because the publishing industry and like the libraries and the schools would never have a book I wrote as a children's book. So that's the only thing I've been told, but whatever.
I don't know if I could teach. Not that I want to go to teaching, but I don't know that I could teach anymore.
Like people might get weird.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could do college, but I doubt I could do like anything younger than that. Definitely not high school or elementary or anything.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not pressed about it. Like, there's nothing I'm trying to do right now that I'm like, oh shit, I can't do.
Yeah,
Because I did Playboy, but there are people out there who just want to discriminate because they're assholes. Somebody asked, Holly, weren't you friends with Siegfried and Roy? Please give details about them. I'm so curious. I wasn't like good friends with them, but we were acquaintances and they invited me to like the 4th of July parties at their house. They had this big ranch up in North Las Vegas. They were super nice. I have friends who are close with them and they gave Rainbow like little toy lions. And like when she was born, they gave me like a stuffed white tiger that had like their name on the collar. And I thought that was super cute.
yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Would you guys ever have ghost stories on the pod and call it Ghouls Next Level?
I don't think so, but I put that question in there because it's funny because Ghouls Next Level has, or not Ghouls Next Level, but like Ghouls Next Door has been a title that people have tried to push on us for so long.
Yeah.
And I hate it. And when we were doing our paranormal pilot, I think somebody out there wanted to call it Ghouls Next Door. And I said, absolutely not. It's like hard to say. Like you're talking about it to your friend next door. Oh, did you watch Ghouls Next Door? Like it just sounds like Girls Next Door. It's like a almost tongue twister and I hate it. And plus I was looking, just because we're doing something together doesn't mean it has to be a throwback to Girls Next Door. Like this podcast is, because that's what we're talking about. That's the topic. But we were working on something completely different. Why does it have to tie back to fucking Playboy again? It pissed me off.
And you know what's funny? Every time somebody comes up with that, they think that they really hit it. Because so we did that pilot and they wanted to call it that. But before that, I did a pilot and they also wanted to call it that.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And just as a joke, I haven't said this yet, but I have a separate book that I wrote, a memoir of just my paranormal life, like all the spooky stuff. And as a joke, the working title is Ghoul Next Door.
Take it away.
No, it's a joke. I mean, if I did it, it would be as a joke, like wink, wink to us, like that's funny. But yeah, it's just comes up all the time. It's funny.
And the thing that pissed me off about it too was when we were doing that paranormal pilot and like I really put my foot down and said absolutely not that name, like, but they didn't listen to me. And then this was back when I was dating Zach and he called me one day. He goes, hey, I heard you're doing a show called Ghouls Next Door. And I flipped out. I was like, But like it got to the point where like the network was talking about it. And I'm like, God, no.
Yeah. Where do you get the photos for your vision boards? Mainly magazines?
No, mine are all from online printed
Yeah.
out because I want them to be specific. And I've even started using AI now because like if a photo doesn't exist of what I want, I haven't made an AI and put it on my vision board.
Perfect. Wait, is that like a pay version of AI to make something for you?
It's like the Google version of it. It's not paid, huh?
Oh, okay.
I forget what it's called, but you can enter in keywords. And you have to do a lot of keywords and a lot of different drafts to really get what you want because sometimes they'll come up with some wacky shit, but yeah.
Interesting.
Elle asks, did either of you go to Kevin Burns' funeral? I don't think he had a traditional funeral at all because it happened during COVID. Like he passed away and his sister passed away during COVID and they were buried in Schenectady, New York, where he was from. But I don't think there was any traditional kind of funeral. Like, didn't Kim tell you there was going to be some celebration of life or something or like a virtual thing?
Well, there was like a virtual thing where everybody could send little videos or messages or whatever, and they put together this video for him, which was really sweet. But that's all I know of.
I mean, I wouldn't have been invited, but yeah, no. Lisa Hill asks, Holly, I'm curious, does the podcast help you recall more of the good times at the mansion? I think it does for me. I think talking about the show helps me remember some times that were fun.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a positive thing for me.
Yeah.
Was Hef butthurt that the same producer of his show would produce yours? Okay, so meaning our spin-offs? No, he wasn't butthurt because those contracts we were forced to sign in season 5 had it built into the contracts that if E ordered any other spin-offs about us, that Kevin would have to produce it. E would obviously have it. Hef would get a cut, blah, blah, blah. So that was by design. That was a control tactic. That was a milk every penny from these girls since we gave them their start tactic. So absolutely not butthurt. And in fact, you did your show with Travel Channel, so you didn't have such a clause. But didn't Hef like call Kevin and berate him into giving him a cut? Like, how could you do this? How could you do a show with one of my girls and not give me a cut? Which I think is ridiculous. Like, he doesn't fucking own you. Like, he gave you your start in that field, yes, but this isn't the old school studio system.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't own you.
And then when I did my pilot, he was absolutely, I mean, it didn't go anywhere, but he did get cut in on the contract. So.
Yeah. And in fact, I feel like the only reason, because Kevin and I had fought before we did Holly's World and I was trying to shop it to other places, but I think the reason he did step in was just like, okay, I can see this girl's going to do something, whether it's with or without me, so I might as well step in and be the one to do it and like have control and be the one to make a profit off of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Were you guys excited about a season 3? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally was, especially since we finally got a chance to film Christmas and
well,
my birthday.
We were super excited to do the holidays.
Yeah, that's what we'd always wanted to do. So
yeah,
I was excited to get to season 3, and I'm very excited to talk about season 3 in a few weeks because I was on TikTok and somebody had shared a portion of one of the early season 3 episodes, and she had added a commentary to it that wasn't true. And then in all the comments I read, like, half of the comments totally knew what was up and had our back and were sticking up for us. But a lot of the comments were like, yeah, why is Holly being such a bitch? Why is Holly da-da-da-da-da-da? And it made me so angry and fired up to talk about this episode. And I don't even know why it makes me so angry because I always say, like, you can't babysit everyone's opinion on you. Who cares? But it really pissed me off. And even though Girls Next Door, I think overall was a net positive for me, and obviously I'm really grateful for it, I think seeing the fact that I was in a miserable relationship when the show started, the show kind of gave me my confidence and like saved my life in a lot of ways. But there is a part of me that resents the show sometimes too, because it gives people the wrong idea, I think, about who I am. And the irony is this episode that the girl was commenting on, I don't even think I was like done dirty in the edit or anything like that. It's just somehow people like get the wrong idea from that episode. And then it turns into like a part of my reputation that's like not even true, and it pisses me off, and I'm so excited to talk about it.
Just you telling me about it makes me so angry, and I cannot wait to dive into that.
Yeah. Well, it does fire me up to talk about the episode, so that's a good thing. So if you guys would like more content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel. Check out our merch at girlsnextlevel.shop, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. For more content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel.